Whether you're looking at buying your first serious E-MTB or you're an e-bike convert keen to exploit the latest technology, 2025 has a stack of amazing options for you. So in this video, we're going to reveal our top 9 electric mountain bikes for 2025. And to get things started with a bang, we've got the winner of our SL e-bike of the year test, the Whyte ELyte 150. Except this one's had the amp turned up to 11 with the latest Bosch CX motor. Yes, that means for a 700 gram weight penalty, you get 85 Nm of torque and 400% support with zero rattle and the most sophisticated array of sensors on any Bosch motor. It's called the ELyte Evo and it delivers the blistering pace, sublime suspension and cat-like reflexes of the original bike, but now it's got the punch to spar with the full-fat heavyweights. And if you're worried about range, put your fears to one side because the 250 watt-hour range extender is included in the price and it's tucked as low as possible on the down tube so there's no compromise in the handling. Which means you only have to carry around the cells you really need depending on the ride you've got planned. After all, you wouldn't take the weekly shop on a picnic, would you? At the opposite end of the fiscal spectrum is the Decathlon Rockrider E-Expl 520S. Currently on sale for 2,700 quid, the Rockrider is the best full suspension e-bike we've tested under £4,000. Unlike cheaper options, it's actually built for proper mountain biking, and we were genuinely blown away by the level of performance on offer. The alloy frame houses a Bros motor with 70 Nm of torque and 460 watts of power, and there's a removable 500 watt-hour battery that pops out of a hatch in the side of the down tube. With 29-inch wheels, it covers ground effectively, and the 140 mm of travel is ample for most terrain. Decathlon has nailed the fundamentals with geometry that will build confidence in new riders while allowing experienced shredders to get loose. When we tested it, we praised the smooth, near-silent motor, the balanced handling and the impressive ride quality. And if your budget doesn't stretch to the 520S, there's also a cheaper model using the same frame but less travel, reduced power and a lower spec for just under £2,300. Happy days. The other budget e-bike that stands out from the pack is the Polygon Siskiu T7E. This gets Shimano's excellent EP801 motor and 630 watt-hour internal battery, making it a step up from the Decathlon in terms of both power and range. And this is mirrored in the geometry with a surprisingly aggressive set of numbers given the 140 mm of travel, which means the Siskiu has the swagger to take on serious enduro terrain. We were also impressed by the highly tunable Suntour suspension, strong brakes and reliable Shimano drivetrain. All told, there's nothing entry level about how hard you can ride the Polygon Siskiu T7E. It's been a big year for SL e-bikes with loads of new models hitting the market, but while most of them have been trail bikes, a few are designed for proper enduro riding. Joining the evergreen Specialized Kenevo SL is the Mondraker Dune and Whyte Decoy SN. And later this summer, this exclusive club was expanded with the arrival of the new Trek Slash Plus. With a high pivot idler design and a TQ motor, it's not an ideal combo on paper. After all, the TQ motor doesn't have stacks of power, and some of that will be robbed by the draggy drivetrain, nor does it have the best range, even if it's top of the class for size, weight and lack of noise. But the Slash Plus gets TQ's new 580 watt-hour battery, which is 60% larger than the old one, and that means we were able to get 1300 meters of climbing and descending using the middle power mode, and that's with DH casing tyres. Not bad. And the Slash Plus is also a bike that feels fabulous on gnarly terrain, gobbling up the roughest tracks while remaining lively and reactive on bike park trails, which is a timely reminder to never judge a book by its cover. New Bosch motors don't drop very often, so when one does, chances are it'll land with a splash and the ripples will stretch right across the e-bike market. And so it is with the latest Performance CX motor, which now boasts perhaps the most controllable power delivery on the market. Okay, there's no more power or torque, but the previous generation CX received a remap not long after launch, so never say never. And by getting rid of the rattle, reducing the weight and adding 2 new sensors, Bosch has given its flagship motor next level response. This released a flurry of new bike launches, with new CX equipped bikes from Focus, Cube, Mondraker, Merida, Orbea, Moustache, Lapierre, Highbike, Sun and Chock, just to name a few. But 2 I want to single out for special mention are the Trek Rail Plus and Santa Cruz Vala. The Rail is one of Trek's most successful models and one of the best selling e-bikes full stop. It was even our e-bike of the year in 2021, so when a new Rail rolls into town it should be a big deal. Except there wasn't really a launch, we haven't been offered one to ride, and we haven't seen any reviews anywhere. So in the absence of any real world ride impressions, let's examine the changes. Aside from the new motor, the battery door moves from the distinctive side entry location to the underside of the down tube, where it gets a more secure latch design. Housed within is the new 800 Wh battery with significantly improved energy density. Add the range extender and you've got over 1000 Wh of juice. The Rail Plus frame also gets a travel boost with 160mm front and rear, along with an MX wheel setup instead of the full 29-inch. Flip chips are still present to give geometry adjustment, but Trek has also added the ability to change the leverage curve, making it more appropriate for both coil and air shocks. Carbon and alloy models will be available, starting at 6K. Just check the sizing, as there's a pretty big gap between the medium and large frame sizes. One Bosch powered e-bike that we have ridden and really liked is the Santa Cruz Vala. It might look a little generic compared to Santa Cruz's typical VPP designs, but the new frame configuration makes the drive unit so much easier to package. And that means it rides better, because we've always been a little underwhelmed by the handling of Santa Cruz's previous e-bikes. Rather than just go straight to the biggest battery on offer, the Vala gets the smaller and lighter 600 Wh unit, which can be supplemented with a 250 Wh range extender for longer rides. And with MX wheels, 150mm rear travel and a compact carbon frame, the Vala builds into a pretty light full-fat e-bike. Most builds are under 22 kilos and the large bike we rode was just 21.6 kilos. Less weight and more power, the Vala might just be our moon on a stick. If the Vala offers the moon on a stick, then there's one bike that promises the stars as well, which is appropriate since it's a total rocket ship. That bike, of course, is the Amflow PL Carbon, powered by a motor made by drone manufacturer DJI. More powerful than anything offered by the most popular motor brands, the Amflow crushes the competition with up to 120 Nm of torque and 1000 watts peak power. But it weighs as little as 19.2 kilos with the smaller of 2 batteries fitted. That insane power is enough to melt your brain, but the DJI tech is equally mind-blowing, with a suite of sensors monitoring every parameter to ensure that power remains controllable, as well as a slick touchscreen colour display, 2 handlebar controllers and even the ability to operate a POV camera from the bike. Having ridden the PL Carbon Pro, it's definitely built light, so not the perfect bike for heavy riders who like to smash down enduro tracks, but for a first e-bike it's certainly impressive. Okay, so the Specialized Turbo Levo is not new. In fact, it hasn't been updated since 2021. So it's nearly 4 years old, which is equivalent to a decade in Specialized years, and it's absolutely ripe for a refresh, particularly with the arrival of DJI and the new Bosch CX motor. Specialized will have to do something in response, surely. So our final bike in this list is not even out yet. But whatever form it takes and whatever motor it gets, we have no doubt that it will be worth the wait. And that rounds up our best e-bikes for 2025. Thanks for watching, and let us know in the comments which bike most tickles your fancy.